KORK North Bay, your source for news and happenings throughout the North Bay.
Hello and thanks for watching KORK North Bay TV. Coming up is our weekend wrap covering all the news stories and happenings that took place over the weekend throughout the greater San Francisco North Bay. In Santa Rosa on Saturday afternoon, a Sonoma County deputy sheriff and a plainclothes training officer walked into a liquor store in the downtown area, and moments after they arrived, a man inside the store began trying to start a fight with the plainclothes officer. The man was identified as 48-year-old Frank Pinola, who's no stranger to this sort of thing. As records show, he's been arrested over 30 times in the past for a whole array of charges, including attempted murder, several felony weapons charges, and narcotics violations. Well, this time didn't work out too well for Mr. Pinola either, because trying to pick a fight with a plainclothes officer while he's with a uniformed deputy wasn't the brightest thing in the world to do, so he was taken down and placed under arrest, then given a ride to a place he's evidently quite familiar with called the county jail, where he was booked on charges of public intoxication and making criminal threats against an executive officer. But it doesn't end there, because according to the report, during his ride to the jail, he bragged about his time in prison and his association with a local gang, and then proceeded to make direct threats to both officers and their families. So once he was booked in jail, the officer sought to have his bail removed, which a judge granted, so Mr. Pinola will be staying in jail until his day in court. On the 4th of July, most people spent the day celebrating and having a good time. And apparently that's also what a 50-year-old Santa Rosa woman named Maria Ramirez had also been doing before she decided to go for a drive after she had a few too many, because at about 6:30 that evening, while driving in the area of Coffee Lane and Bluebell Drive, she lost control of the pickup truck that she was driving and crashed into a power pole, shearing it off and coming to a stop on the sidewalk facing the opposite direction. The power pole came crashing down, blocking the street with live power lines, so PG&E was called to shut off the power and replace the downed pole, while businesses and people in the area went without power. Miss Ramirez was arrested for driving under the influence and given a sober ride to the county jail. Thankfully, she nor anyone else was injured in this incident. We all know the dangers of fire this time of year with the hot weather and dry grasses and vegetation, but apparently there are some people who just don't get it. And that's exactly what happened up at Lake Berryessa on Saturday, when someone thought it would be a good idea to set up their charcoal barbecue right over the dry grass, which of course caught it on fire. This story hits home extra hard for me because where this incident of pure stupidity took place was at my favorite fishing spot at the lake called Smiddle Creek, which is a day-use area with 2 coves and a peninsula just past Spanish Flat. People who were in the area when the fire broke out said on social media that the people responsible took off and fled the scene as soon as the grass lit on fire, instead of even attempting to try to put it out before it took off and got out of control. A video taken by a guy on a jet ski that was in the area at the time clearly shows the Weber barbecue sitting right over the dry grass. Let's take a look at that video now.
This dude's over here tripping on me. Oh, somebody with a fucking grill. This shit. This dude's over here tripping on me on a jet ski. I'm like just watching, dude. Look at this shit. Everybody out here watching.
Thankfully, with a quick response from CAL FIRE's Sonoma Lake Napa unit, the fire was able to be headed off and brought under control after burning only about 4 acres. The people responsible left a lot of evidence behind that hopefully detectives can get some forensics off of in order to identify them for such a stupid move. Once the fire was out, some people enjoying the day on a boat, including a guy named Kevin Hooks with his family and friends, got a great video of CAL FIRE's chopper that landed on a little shore area to pick up some ground crews after they fought the fire and cheered them on. Let's take a look at that footage now. Thankfully, they were able to get this fire out as quickly as they did before it turned into another raging inferno that wipes out the whole area. Hopefully, the people responsible for this absolutely stupid scenario get caught and charged for it. Last week, inside Richardson Bay, which is in Marin County between the towns of Sausalito and Belvedere, a family out on the bay for a day of boating took a bad turn when their boat began taking on water and capsized, leaving 5 people in the water. The boat washed up onto the rocks with all 5 people in the water, but thankfully they all had life jackets on. But even so, the bay water is pretty cold and hypothermia can set in pretty fast, so they weren't out of danger yet. Thankfully, first responders from the Marin County Fire Department, the Tiburon Fire District, the Southern Marin Fire District, and the Coast Guard were at the scene pretty quickly and were able to get all 5 of the people back to a nearby harbor where they were then taken care of by crews waiting for them. Let's take a look now at some video footage captured at the scene. Thankfully, no one was injured. That area of the bay, especially out at the point where Belvedere and Sausalito meet the open bay, have some pretty strong and sometimes unpredictable currents that can spin a boat around or even flip it over where one current meets another and the waters get turbulent. So you really have to be careful out there, especially in a smaller boat. We're glad no one was injured in this incident. This was another great rescue effort by everyone involved. If you follow us here at KORK TV, you know we don't get into politics and leave that stuff to all of the other news stations and sources. But this next story does involve someone indirectly involved with politics, so we're going to bring you the story about the person, not their politics or their political party. Back in 2022 in Napa Valley, Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi, pulled out on Highway 29 in Oakville in front of a Jeep that crashed into the Porsche 911 that he was driving. He was found to have a blood alcohol level of 0.082% and later pled guilty to misdemeanor driving under the influence. Well, on Friday, Paul Pelosi was back in Napa Valley again, driving a brown Maserati convertible on Yount Street in the quaint town of Yountville and crashed into a parked black Tesla sedan, causing some pretty good damage to the left rear corner of that vehicle. Witnesses said he briefly stopped and then drove off as if nothing had happened, so they called police to report the incident. A short time later, an officer spotted Pelosi's parked car just up the street from where the hit and run took place and observed some pretty good damage to the front end of his car, confirming what the witnesses had called 911 about. The officer was able to locate Mr. Pelosi and asked him about the incident. Apparently, Pelosi told the officer that he knew he hit something but wasn't sure what it was or when it happened, which is pretty scary knowing that this 86-year-old is driving around and has no idea what he crashed into or when it happened. I mean, what if that was a person instead of a parked car? According to police, Pelosi didn't have any alcohol in his system at the time, so he wasn't arrested and was just cited for misdemeanor fleeing the scene of an accident. His case is also being referred to the DMV for an evaluation of whether he should continue to be allowed to drive or not. This broadcast is sponsored by Mike Larbury Automotive, 5-star ratings for all of your domestic and import automotive repair needs, located on Highway 12 in Sonoma. Mention you saw them here on KORK TV to receive a special discount. And also by Sonoma Paint Center, your source for all of your home and automotive paint and supply needs.
Transform your home or business with Sonoma Paint Center. As your local Benjamin Moore retailer, we've got everything you need to paint inside and out, plus top quality stains. Step inside our Santa Rosa location or visit us in Sonoma, Sebastopol, and now our newest location in Napa. From vibrant colors to durable finishes and required supplies, we'll help you bring your vision to life. Sonoma Paint Center, serving you in Santa Rosa, Sonoma, Sebastopol, and now Napa. Sonoma Paint Center, color your world.
Well, that's it for our weekend wrap. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We'll see you again on Friday for our weekly wrap. Remember, you can watch us on our website at KORKTV.com, or you can also watch us on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, or on our new YouTube channel. In any of those platforms, just search for KORK North Bay TV and add our channel to your favorites. We'd sure appreciate it. We'd like to wish everyone a safe, healthy, and happy week. Thanks for watching.